everyone, and thank you so much for attending today's webinar. My name is Haley Holland, and I'm the Marketing Programs Manager here at ARI. Today, we're learning about the powerful account management features in PartSmart 10 and how you can leverage those features to set your dealership up for success. My co-host today is Joe Pierkowski, the Product Manager for PartSmart, and he's going to be going in depth on those brand new features and how you can really get the most out of the product. And of course, showing you a live demo of this really great new technology. Before we dive in, I just want to point out the control panel you should be able to see there on the right side of your screen. You can minimize or expand this at any time by clicking on the orange arrow button on the corner. Alrighty, before I let Joe take over, we're going to ask you just a quick question. So you should see a poll question on your screen in just a moment. Please take a second just to answer that for us. Okay, looks like we've got everyone's answers. Let's go. Alrighty, thanks so much, dealers. Well, we're excited to dive in. Lastly, if you are an existing PartSmart customer, which I saw there are a few on today, and you haven't activated your PartSmart 10 account just yet, you can click on the link in the chat in that control panel just to learn how to do that. With that, I'm going to turn the phone over to Joe. Joe, take it away.
Thanks, Haley. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on where you are. Before I kick things off, I just want you to get to know me. So my name is Joe Pierkowski, and I am the product manager for the new version of PartSmart. The son of a gearhead, I spent my childhood working on go-karts and cars. I also worked in landscaping through high school and college, so I have a strong foundation of what it's like to be your customer and to use the products you guys sell and repair on a daily basis. And for those of you in power sports, I spend my weekends tearing up Norwood, Wisconsin on ATVs. I've been with ARI for 5 years now, and I've spent the last 4 years working with OEMs and dealers to see how PartSmart was getting used and where we needed to improve. I spoke to people just like you to find out what you go through on a daily basis so we could come up with a new version of PartSmart that will make finding the right part easier and faster than it is today. All right, let's get started. So today we're going to be covering the new admin dashboard, and I'm going to be walking through how you can manage your team in that dashboard, also configuring your locations if you have multiple locations, connecting PartSmart to your DMS, showing you where you can access your PartSmart CD subscription information, and then wrapping up with how you can report data issues inside of PartSmart and get those directly to the OEM. And I want to make sure you guys stick around for the whole webinar because we are going to be doing a live demo of every feature that we share with you inside of the PowerPoint. And then after that, we're also going to be answering your questions at the end during our Q&A time. So we asked our customers, how can we make it easier for you to set up and manage PartSmart? Here are the problems that you mentioned. PartSmart setup should be quick and easy. It's hard to set up multiple computers and locations. There's too many applications and accounts to keep track of. You'd like the ability to control settings for team members. You also need to manage employees at different locations. And then DMS configuration is too cumbersome. So based on your feedback, we came up with a solution. Meet the admin dashboard. So inside the admin dashboard, you can manage your team and PartSmart settings from one convenient location. A good to know piece of information is every PartSmart 10 subscription has an admin account already. So what can you do as an admin inside of PartSmart 10? You can manage user accounts for team members. You can assign users to your dealer locations. You can configure your DMS settings, and you can also access your PartSmart CD subscription information from all one location inside the admin dashboard. Now let's talk about managing your team. Adding team members. It's really easy to add team members to your account. All you have to do is enter their first name and last name, provide an email address, set their assigned locations, then click on the Add User button, and you're done. A couple other good things to know is your specific account settings will apply to each user. Users can update their profile and user settings only, and then every user will manage their own password. So that means they're going to get started out by receiving a welcome email to their email address, and that's going to have a link to their account where they can set their password and complete the activation of their account. And it'll look like what you see right here on the screen. What if you don't have a business email address for each one of your team members? You can set up a free email service provider account through Gmail, Outlook, or Yahoo, or any other free email service out there for use for this. And then managing your team, managing users, we can find existing users by typing in their email address in the user search box. You can delete user accounts. So for example, if an employee leaves your dealership and you don't want them to be able to access PartSmart because it's a web-based application, once they've left, you can go into the advanced settings, go into your users and delete that just by clicking on the delete icon. You can also remove team members from a location. So let's say you have someone that has managed all 4 locations in your dealership and they're changing roles and they don't need access to all those locations anymore. You can edit that user login and just have them access 1 location or 2 or 3 instead of the 4. And then assigning users. You can assign and switch team members for specific dealer locations just by clicking on the edit next to the user's name. Configuring your locations. You can view and manage your dealer locations, and you can also find the subscribed dealer locations in PartSmart. You can change the display name for those locations to make it easier to identify which location is located in the UI of PartSmart. And then inside of the location configuration, you can control what pricing information is going to be displayed for each location. So let's say you don't want a location to see a reorder quantity, you can turn that information off. So when they're connected to the DMS, they won't see that information. Also the catalogs, you can view which catalogs are set up for a location so that if you're missing one or you see one that you may want to add, you can reach out to your dealer sales rep and they can help you get that catalog turned on for that location. Then also your DMS. You can configure your DMS settings inside of each location so that you can have it specific to each location if you need it to be. Another good to know nugget is you can subscribe to additional dealer locations to leverage this functionality inside of your business. Once again, just reach out to your dealer sales rep and they can help you through that. Connect to your DMS. Connecting to your DMS inside of PartSmart is really easy. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. It's quick and easy one-time setup of our DMS agent to integrate with your DMS. All you need to do is start out with step 1 by downloading and installing the DMS agent. Then you select the DMS provider inside of the PartSmart UI, and then set your DMS command line value. And if you're already using PartSmart 8, that command line is already in your settings inside of PartSmart 8. You can just copy that and paste it in PartSmart 10. Or if you don't have it or you don't know where it is, you could reach out to your DMS provider and they'd be able to provide the command line that you need to use. Another good thing to know is the DMS agent will share the same configuration on every computer you install it on, helping you save time during the setup process. Additional settings, there's a setting for color-coded hotspots on your diagram. So that will allow you to see inventory levels when you're looking at the diagram, and you have the ability to turn on or turn off inside of your admin settings. Also, override the system catalog code. So if your DMS requires a different catalog code than what PartSmart has loaded in, you can come to the catalog code override section, type in the override code that your DMS provider needs, then hit save, and then you're all set. Multiple locations, so you can configure and connect to a different DMS at each one of your locations. A few things that are good to know are you should try connecting to your DMS and reach out to us, to our tech support team if you need any help doing so. And that ARI is working directly with DMS providers to test the new PartSmart integration and enable the best experience for you. Now I want to show you where you can access your PartSmart CD subscriptions inside of PartSmart 10. If you go into advanced settings for the admin login, you will see a PartSmart CD tab that is located in that section. And this is going to allow you to see your license keys and catalog. So you can view the catalogs that you have access to for PartSmart 8. You can also access the license keys and see when they expire. And you can easily copy and paste your license key into PartSmart CD just by clicking on the icon that's located next to the license key. And then last thing is you can download your catalog. So it's a one-click download of your catalog data set by clicking on the download link next to the catalog name. Last thing before we get into our demo I want to cover is report data issues inside of PartSmart. So if you find a data issue inside of PartSmart, you can report them directly to the OEM and even have them resolved the same day. To report and view data issues, you want to click on the report an issue link and then enter the issue description, add an attachment if you have one, and then click on report. For viewing issues that you've already submitted, you do the same thing. You click on the view issues icon though, and then to view the open and closed issues, you would see that by clicking on the view issues. Good to know here is every team member with a user account can report issues, and that catalog data is automatically added to the issue. Now I'd like to take you on a tour of PartSmart to walk through the topics we discussed so far. So without further ado, here's the next generation of parts lookup, PartSmart 10.
And Joe, while you're setting that up, I just want to take a quick moment just to remind our listeners that we are taking time at the end to answer any questions you might have. I see that we had a couple joiners just join recently. So in case you missed that or missed how to ask questions, you can open up your control panel by clicking on the orange arrow button and scroll down. There's a question section where you can drop your questions. All right, Joe, thanks so much. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Haley. So to access our admin dashboard, you're going to need to come into PartSmart, so log in, and then click on the user settings icon. And you will notice you have a user settings, advanced settings, and log off. If you have that advanced settings option, that's how you know you're the admin account holder for your dealership. If you just have user settings and log off, you're a standard user for your dealership. I'm going to just take a quick peek in the user settings to show you what you can do there. So everyone will have access to see their contact information, and then they also have access to their settings. And this is where you can select the location. If you have multiple locations associated to you, you can pick which one you want to log in as. And then settings that are specific to the end user, like you want to do light or dark theme, your navigation preference, if you want to default by search or product line. All of that stuff is available to the end user in my settings. And the last thing in user settings is the help section. So it has our phone number and email, and then also a link to our PartSmart documentation that is available 24/7. So now let's get into the admin dashboard by clicking on user settings and then advanced settings. And the first thing we're going to do here is walk through adding a new user. So we click on the user panel if you weren't already on that, and all you need to do is type in a first name, a last name, and then an email address. So I'm going to type in my email address. Then I can select which locations I want this user to have access to. So I'm going to do main location and east side, and I click on add user. And then once I've added the user, you'll see it's in the list of existing users. And if I needed to come back and make a change to that user at a later time, I can click on the edit icon. And then I could, let's say, add the west side location so that this user has access to all locations. And that is just how easy it is to set up a new user inside of PartSmart 10. Now, once they got added to this existing user list, the system will automatically trigger a welcome email to that user, where they can go in and then set their password and finish setting up their account. Now let's dive into the locations section. So if we click on locations, it will display all the locations that are available for your dealership. If one is missing or you would like to add another one, once again, please reach out to your dealer sales rep to help you with that. Once you've opened up the locations panel, you can click on the location that you want to edit. You can see it will display the dealership information at the top. You have the ability to type in a display name for your location. So when you're looking at the list of your locations, you can quickly identify which location you want to go work on. And then you have a part information section. So this is where you can monitor and dictate what pricing will show up for the location. So I mentioned earlier in the slide deck that let's say you wanted to uncheck the show reorder quantity because you don't want people at that location to be able to see it. You can uncheck this, and then when you hit save, the show reorder would no longer show for people only within that location. Then we have an available catalogs area. This is going to show you all the catalogs that you are subscribed to. So if you see you're missing one that you would like to subscribe to, again, reach out to your dealer sales representative and they can help you out with that. And then if there's any pricing questions you have as to what pricing might be available, you can click on a catalog and it'll show you which pricing you have applied. Again, if you had an issue here where you maybe had the wrong pricing applied, you would want to reach out to our tech support team to help you out with that. Now let's get to the DMS integration. So to enable your DMS, you'd come in and it would be unchecked like this. You would want to check your DMS enabled, and then that will give you the information that you need to be able to set up your DMS. And there's also a 1, 2, 3 step guideline to help you walk you through that process. So you want to click on the download link to download the software to your computer. So all you do is click on download DMS, and that will start the download of our DMS agent. And then you would follow the install process there. Then you're going to come and select your DMS provider from the list. If you don't see your DMS provider listed here, go to the bottom and select other, and then just type in what the DMS provider name is here. After that, you're going to come to this DMS command section, and you're going to paste the command line that you already are using for PartSmart 8. And like I said through the PowerPoint, that if you don't have that or you can't find it in PartSmart 8, reach out to your DMS provider and they'll be able to provide you the command line that you need to put here. Here is the color-coded hotspots checkbox that we talked about earlier. Checking this will make sure that the color-coded hotspots display when you're inside of PartSmart. Unchecking it will turn it off. And then if your catalog or your DMS provider requires a different catalog code, you can come here to the catalog override section and type in what the catalog override code is for your DMS. And then all you have to do is scroll down to the bottom, hit save changes, and you'll be all set. So pretty quick and easy to set up each location, and then whatever you did for your main location, if you had other locations, you'd go through and do the same thing, and then everyone within that location would be set up and ready to go. The last thing I want to cover in the admin dashboard is talking about the PartSmart 8 license key information, and that can be accessed by clicking on the PartSmart CD panel. Here you're going to see a list of the catalogs that you're subscribing to for PartSmart 8. So it'll list the catalog name. It'll have a download link for you to download the update for that catalog. It'll let you know the date that file was created, so you can quickly check to see if you have the current one or if you need to download a new one. If you need the license key, all you have to do is click on this icon and it'll copy the license key, and then you can just paste it directly into PartSmart 8. And then you'll also see the date that your license key expires all inside of this panel. The last thing I want to do inside of PartSmart before we head back to the PowerPoint is walk through the report an issue. So you can, like let's say I go into a model and I notice that I'm missing a diagram in this model. I can click on the report an issue link. It's going to tell the person who receives the issue what catalog. So let's say it could show MTD or Cub Cadet here, and it'll let you also know which model the issue is associated to. Select that it's a data type, and I will type in missing diagram. And then if I wanted to, I could click on choose file to add an attachment, and then all I have to do is click on report, and then it'll submit that issue with my description and the catalog and model directly to the OEM so they can look at the issue and resolve it. Now let's say you want to take a look at something that you've reported in the past. You click on report an issue again, but this time you click on view issues, And now you can see things separated by the open issues. So this is the case that I just submitted, so you can see that it's still open, but then I can also see all the other cases that I submitted and that have been closed.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Joe, for that very detailed demo. I know dealers are excited to get started. And as you see on the screen, I'm just curious, can you walk us through how to activate a PartSmart 10 account?
Definitely. So if you're an existing PartSmart customer, it's really easy to activate your PartSmart 10 account. It only takes a few simple steps, and let me walk you through it. So you can go to the link that I have displayed here, or you can click on the link in the chat, then click on Set Password, and then enter your dealership's ARI email address. Click on the Request Reset button, and then follow the prompts to complete the password setup process. If you don't know your dealership's ARI email address, reach out to our tech support team at techsupport@arinet.com with your contact info and location, and they will get back to you with your ARI email address. Did you know that you can easily activate your PartSmart 10 account and invite other team members? Did you also know that there's no more data downloads or software installs? You're always up to date with PartSmart 10. And that existing customers can use PartSmart 10 alongside of PartSmart CD, so you can leverage the new application without interrupting your day-to-day business. And then again, activate your account today at the link displayed here, or the link is also in the chat, so you can click on the link in the chat to do that. If you have any questions based on what you saw here today, or any questions at all regarding PartSmart, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to our tech support team at techsupport@arinet.com.
Okay, and with that, that brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much, Joe. The new PartSmart really, is a next generation game changer, and I'm excited for dealers to get started. So at this time, dealers, we have another question for you. Right before we open up questions, so please take a few seconds and just let us know what would you like to learn about in the next webinar. You should see those questions on your screen here in just a moment. And if you're not sure, or you select other, feel free just to drop those ideas in the chat, or you can, we'll give you an email to send those ideas over. Alrighty. Looks like just about everyone's submitted their responses. Thank you so much, dealers. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for those answers. We are excited for future webinars, and these ideas only help us, be able to build data or slideshows just for you guys, just what you'd like to learn. So before we go, we do want to take some time to answer questions from you, our attendees. If you have a question and you'd like to ask, please type it into the question section in your control panel. And again, if you need to expand that, click on that orange arrow button you see in there in the corner. Alrighty, Joe, let's grab the first question. I have a dealer, Shane. Thanks, Shane. He's asking, if we activate the new PartSmart, will it coexist with our current PartSmart application, or do we need to choose one or the other?
That's a great question, Shane. So when you activate PartSmart 10, you will not lose access to your PartSmart CD. You can use both versions, and PartSmart CD will still be there as an offline backup.
Great. Thanks, Shane. Joe, another dealer's asking, Eric, what if each employee in my dealership doesn't have their own email address to create their account?
Sure. So each team member will need to have their own email address, like we stated in the PowerPoint. But if you don't have a company email address for each employee, you could set up email accounts through any of the free email services that are out there, like Gmail or Yahoo.
Great, awesome. I see Paul. Paul's asking, how do I know if PartSmart will integrate with my DMS?
So we are working with many DMS vendors to test the new PartSmart integration. So please reach out to us to find out if your DMS is supported. If it's not currently supported, we can work with you to validate your DMS integration. It's a simple process. It generally takes 30 minutes or less of your time, and we're going to do all the heavy lifting. You don't even need to be engaged the whole time when we're doing that.
Great, good question. Looks like Jill, she's asking if I want to try the new PartSmart, but the counter will still be using the current version. Is that going to be a problem?
Nope. Activating your PartSmart 10 account will not impact your current PartSmart CD installation.
Great. All right, dealers, these are great questions. Got a few more. So I've got a dealer, John. He's asking if there's a cost for integrating PartSmart with my dealer management system.
ARI does not charge a fee for integrating with your DMS, but we'd recommend that you reach out to your DMS to see if they have any fees associated to providing the integration.
Good question. Okay, I've got a dealer, Carrie. She's asking, I'm assuming if your dealership loses internet connection, then this application would not work.
Carrie, that is correct. The new PartSmart is a web-based application and does require an internet connection to work. So if you do lose your internet connection, you'll still have access to PartSmart CD as your offline backup.
Fantastic. Okay, we've got a couple more questions. Looks like John is asking, or pardon me, sorry, I scrolled over Steve's question. Let's answer his. Can a login be shared with multiple users, or pardon me, can multiple users log in at the same time in different places? That's a good question.
So every user will need to have their own login for PartSmart, and a user will still be able to open up multiple instances of PartSmart on a single computer, but multiple users will not be able to use the same login.
Okay. Alrighty, dealers, because we want to get you back to your day, get you back to doing what you need to do. We're going to grab one more question. I have a dealer, Mike. He's asking, once a catalog becomes available, how do I download it to all the computers at my dealership?
So that's the beauty of PartSmart 10. There's no need to download new catalogs or updates to existing catalogs. Once the data is available in PartSmart 10, it will show up in your application for all the team members at your dealership with no action required by you.
Well, fantastic. Thanks so much, Joe. These questions were great, dealers. And if we missed your question, rest assured, we will be reaching out to answer those. Well, with that, we are out of time. Dealers, if you are interested in more information about activating your PartSmart 10 account, you can click on the link in the chat, or feel free to contact us at techsupport@arinet.com. Again, if we didn't get to your question, don't worry, we'll be following up after the webinar. But before we go, we do have one final question for you. Please take a moment to let us know, was this webinar helpful? Did you find it useful? Okay, thanks so much for your feedback, dealers. We're going to go ahead and close the poll. We really appreciate you answering. Your feedback definitely helps us, provide better future trainings and improve on the webinars that we host. So thank you so much for attending our webinar today. We hope that it was informative and that you guys are excited just as much as we are for this new PartSmart 10 platform. Again, Joe, thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for being here. And dealers, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.